When most people think about the main force behind a movie, they think of the director.
Oppenheimer.
And yet, at the Academy Awards, it's the producer who accepts the Oscar for Best Picture. This isn't a triviality. Without a producer, a movie simply doesn't get made. And yet, a producer's role and what makes them good at it can at times feel like a mystery.
What would you say you do here?
This is What Does a Producer Do? Before we get the green light, subscribe to StudioBinder and click the bell to stay up to date on all our new videos. Time to put out some fires.
I think I understand what you do. You're a problem solver. You're a ringmaster.
Something like that.
In film, a producer oversees the production of a movie, shepherding a project from development all the way through post-production and distribution. Producers primarily focus on the logistics and financials of a film, while the director focuses on the creative decisions. That said, producers will often have at least some creative input.
You want a note, Ron? I'll give you a note. You made a great film that you are ruining with this self-indulgent motel bullshit. You!
Producer Jonathan Wang describes how he views his role.
I would say it's like a general contractor. You're going to hire vendors, you're going to communicate vision, you're going to make sure you're creative, logistics, all in one.
The job of the producer has evolved alongside the film industry. In the early studio era, producers were the central authority, overseeing multiple films at once and exercising tight control over the creatives under them. In the late 60s and 70s, the rise of auteurs shifted some power to directors, but the producers remained critical for financing and logistics.
You agreed to do this film for 4.5.
It can't be done for 4.5.
Low-budget specialist, my ass.
Look, Charlie, I got all the actors to work for scale, including Marlon Brando.
Today, a producer can mean a wide swath of things. Lee Daniels, the butler, for example, has 41 credited producers. What exactly are all of them doing? To answer this question, we need to look at the types of producers. The different kinds of producers on a film are typically related to the size, scope, and budget of a film. And producer titles can sometimes mean different things depending on these variables. It's also important to note that these titles can have slightly different responsibilities in television. An executive producer is usually in charge of managing a film's financing, and can even be a financier themselves. As such, they are often tied to the production company or studio working on the film. Sometimes the title is honorary or used for name value. A supervising producer is a credit only given for TV movies and typically involved in overseeing a screenplay's development. A consulting producer usually refers to a veteran producer who is advising on the project, lending guidance based on their experience. A producer, meanwhile, is the most involved in every step of the project. They are intimately involved in all the workings of the film and oversee finances, contracts, schedules, and other logistics. Anora producer Samantha Kwan explains.
I've done everything because my job is to make sure that the movie gets made, no matter what happens.
Occasionally, a director or an entrepreneurial actor may also produce their own film. These are usually instances where the director or actor is the one initially working to get a project off the ground.
We cannot do this film without your help and without your cooperation. And a year from now, when you come out to see the film, hopefully you support it, we won't let you down, and be very proud of the fact that Do the Right Thing was shot in your neighborhood. Thank you very much.
For the Academy Awards, a movie can only have up to 3 producers who can be named for Best Picture. The producer's mark, the letters PGA after a name, is given to the people who performed the most significant portion of producing duties, and can be given to someone even if they aren't a member of the PGA. An associate producer can mean many different things. It can be a junior role, a political credit, or simply recognition of someone who contributed in some way. It can also be awarded to the owner of intellectual property as part of a deal to transfer rights. A line producer works under the producer and manages staff and day-to-day operations on set. They work closely with department heads and the unit production manager. They also are typically in charge of creating a detailed budget breakdown in pre-production. They may also be dubbed a co-producer, a title UPMs can sometimes receive as well. For a more detailed breakdown of different producing roles, check out the useful resources on the Producers Guild website. With these differences in mind, let's look closer at a producer's job during each stage of production, beginning with development and pre-production. A first step for a producer is to find a good story. Producer Gail Berman notes,
as the leader of the ship, it's an exciting idea that motivates us. And sometimes that comes from the producer, and sometimes that comes from a piece of material, sometimes it comes from an actor, but it's really taking that and running with it.
This idea often comes from an existing piece of intellectual property, whether it be a newspaper article, a book, or a spec script. It is the producer's job to procure the rights to this property. This process is called optioning, since the producer is purchasing the option to turn a piece of IP into a movie. These options last for a specified amount of time. When this time is up, the producer can renew the option or let it expire. Once the IP is obtained, it's time to make it a screenplay. For this, the producer will hire a screenwriter who they feel is a good match for the material.
I went after Greta Gerwig from the beginning to direct and hopefully write as well, and then she invited Noah to write with her. And it really came down to her saying yes to this. I had no doubt that this was going to work as soon as she said yes.
If they've purchased a script outright rather than optioned it, the producer may hire another writer to punch it up. Jerry Bruckheimer explains the process.
For me, the hardest part is always the architect, the person who's writing the screenplay. That's the thing we spent the most time on. And it really doesn't end until the movie's in the theater, because you're always making alterations. Even on the dubbing stage, you're changing lines, you're bringing in writers to get funnier lines or change lines. It just never stops.
The producer must also obtain financing for the project. This may happen before the script is complete, or sometimes before it's even been written. Typically, the producer will put together a package, which is all of the exciting talent and material they've assembled thus far. This may just be the IP, or it may be a lead actor or the director. Financing almost never comes from just one place. The producer will usually need to wrangle together multiple co-financiers to get their desired budget.
The budget of the movie was about $1.5 million, and so it was just a question of a very sort of frustrating and lengthy process of going out and approaching individual private investors and soliciting their investment in the movie.
How did you cover the money?
It's been taken care of. And the less you know about it, the better.
It is also the producer's job to assemble their project's team. This typically begins with the above-the-line positions, such as the writer, director, and actors. The director will often have a say in the film's department heads, and the department heads will have a say in the roles on their team. But the final decision comes down to the producer.
Hey, that girl is not in my film!
It's no longer your film.
Producer Paula Wagner explains how she approaches this phase.
Part of the job of the producer is to put together a group of people that interact with synergy, that are moving together to create this behemoth piece of entertainment, the movie.
With the team assembled, the producer will typically oversee location scouting, as well as scheduling, trying to fit everyone's availability together. In pre-production, a producer's role above all else is to ensure feasibility, doing all that is necessary to set their team up for a smooth shoot.
Let's go and make the greatest war movie ever!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Once they've done that, their job is far from over. It's on to production, post, and beyond. A producer's primary job at this point is to make sure the project is on time and within budget. During production, producers oversee the day-to-day, monitoring schedules and, often, resolving any disputes. Producer Christina Sybil explains,
You do have to be resourceful. You have to sort of be able to negotiate emotions on set, off of set, make people feel safe, make people feel heard, and then figure out how to get the things done that we need to get done.
Producers will typically delegate the nitty-gritty logistics of production to line producers and UPMs, and may even not be on set some days in order to handle higher-level matters. In post-production, the producer will continue to focus on budget and timeline, supervising progress on the edit, music, sound design, and visual effects. Often, post-production houses will have their own producers to help manage their teams. Post-production supervisors also assist in the logistics and coordination between different departments. For bigger movies, the producer will often mediate between a director's vision and the studio's demands.
The distributor wants him not to have a beard, like he's supposed to be a Keanu Reeves of The Matrix.
And help orchestrate test screenings and other feedback sessions.
You should have heard that test screening the first time. Oof. Never won that audience back.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. That dog went, the audience went quiet, the people were walking out. The movie was still pretty rough. It was still really long, but yeah, it got weird.
The producer's job continues even when the movie is finished. They will strategize festival premieres and often be the primary negotiator with interested distributors. They will also typically have input on marketing strategies and release campaigns. Producing is one of the hardest jobs in film, and when a producer decides to devote themselves to a project, it can be a years-long commitment. So, if you are looking to produce, think carefully about what you select, because your passion for the project needs to carry you through long days and difficult work. If you feel ready to produce, you'll want to use StudioBinder's pre-production software, where you can do script breakdowns, scheduling, and more, all in one place. That's all for now. Good luck steering the ship.
On deck, you scabbard stones! Hands to braces! Let go and hold the run free!
Now, bring me that horizon.